Welcome to the Own It Powercast, the place to be when you get serious about making big changes and accelerating growth in your life and in your relationships. Finally create the life you've always wanted, living life on your own terms. Learn how to take your fear and turn it into powerful choices that will create sustained change. Now your host, Mary Baker.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own It Powercast, a place where you can come to get what you need to move yourself forward. Hey, it's Mary Baker and welcome to episode 72, Gratitude and Letting Go. So this month, it's going to be all about gratitude and letting go. And I thought since it is the season for reflection and being thankful, I thought it might be a good time to dwell on this topic a bit. I also thought about, most importantly, with the pandemic going on, with all kinds of things going on in the world, there's so much anxiety all around us about the global economy, shifts in our social fabric, and all of the unknown ahead. And I thought, we could all use some moments this month to focus on feeling grounded and thankful for what we do have right now, while also learning to let go of all that we have no control over. So this week, I want to talk broadly about the benefits of gratitude and letting go. And then we'll spend the rest of the month kind of fleshing that out and focusing on how to actually put this into practice. So before we get there, I just want to show my gratitude for all of you who are listening. And I keep getting individual feedback about ways this podcast is helping you grow. And I just want to say thank you for letting me know, and I'd love to hear from more of you. I'd also like to hear some of your questions that you would like me to feature on upcoming Q&A episodes. So please email me. My email link is right in the show notes at ownitpowercast.com. Or get in touch with me on social media. All right, so let's get started. And let's begin with gratitude. Why is gratitude so beneficial? And you may roll your eyes and you say, Mary, I already know that. But I want to dive into this a little bit because some of it even surprises me sometimes. So I'm going to be referencing an article that I found, and I have the link to it in the show notes from positivepsychology.com because it references a bunch of really great research. And so please feel free to go there and read more. So how does practicing gratitude benefit us physically? So what they found was that grateful people have fewer aches and pains. They report feeling healthier than other people, and they're more likely to take care of their health. When we practice gratitude, we sleep better. It lowers our blood pressure. We have generally less stress, and we know that a huge percentage of illness is caused by stress. And so less stress equals less illness. Grateful people exercise more, take better care of their health in general, less avoidant of going to the doctors, things like that. So practicing gratitude is really good for your physical health. Gratitude has a huge impact also on our emotional and psychological health. When you think about all those toxic emotions like envy, regret, anger, frustration, and resentment, there was a gratitude researcher that talked about multiple studies that show the link between gratitude and well-being because he said it reduces these feelings and it reduces depression and increases happiness. I think also that gratitude helps us calm down our fear by telling our subconscious and our reptilian brain, it's okay. Go back to sleep. We're good. Our needs are met. So if I focus on what's good for me today and what I'm thankful for, I'm not focusing on what I don't have and what's not going well. So therefore I have less fear and anger. So we're not in the fight or flight or effort or freak out. Gratitude also helps our self-esteem. I mean, if you're comparing yourself less to other people because instead you're focusing on your own life and what's good in your own life, I think it's less lack mentality and fear focused. And then even bigger, the I'm not enough shame-based mentality will dissipate. Because that's what happens. We look out there and we compare ourselves to what people have and what we don't have and what they're doing that we're not doing, and all of a sudden we don't feel good enough. And worse, we have to keep looking out there, quote unquote, to feel good about ourselves. Gratitude helps you focus within. Take your eyes off those people for a moment and focus on what's in your life today. And what are you proud of yourself for? What are you grateful for? It helps you feel, I think, more loved and nurtured and connected and on purpose. Gratitude builds resilience. So the research shows that after trauma, practicing gratitude helps us to heal. I think trauma and betrayal hurt our ability to trust. So this makes sense. So if we feel more grounded and safe, even just for the moment, I think we work towards healing at least our self-trust first, and then maybe a little bit of trust for life again, right? Because we're looking for the good. And when you are practicing gratitude, think about it for a moment, you're honoring what's true for you. I think that also builds self-trust, maybe more indirectly, but still in very profound ways. Because you're acknowledging, I'm grateful friends came to help me today. I'm grateful I got a good night's sleep. I'm grateful I have people who love me. It's almost like a self-mirroring exercise. I think it also helps us focus on reality because the good stuff is there. It's not a denial of the bad stuff. The good stuff is there, though, so it's more of a well-rounded view of what's going on. Practicing gratitude helps us grow spiritually. We don't feel so alone. Maybe we feel guided, depending on what we believe in. Feel connected to something greater, like there are no accidents, there's synchronicity, there are God moments, some people call them, etc., etc. So you're noticing people and things and circumstances in your environment that you don't see as an accident. So therefore, you can connect it spiritually to whatever you believe in or want to believe in. And that gives people some comfort and some hope. The other thing practicing gratitude is good for is our relationships. Now, the most obvious one is showing appreciation. I mean, you come across as a more grateful person, you're more than likely going to be more pleasant to be around. I know I am when I'm practicing gratitude. So I think it really also opens the door to connection when we are expressing gratitude to those around us. Even a thank you to someone for holding the door for you at the store. Even expressing deeper gratitude to a friend who listened to you for an hour on the phone. Or to a loved one or a partner for taking care of you when you were sick. Or for a child who drew a picture for you. Or a parent who gave their all for you growing up. It helps us to reach out and connect and show them that they matter. And all the big and little things that they've done matter. I think it also has the effect of coming across as more trustworthy, grounded, social, and appreciative to others, right? Because that's what gratitude helps us do. Another way I think gratitude, I know helps me in relationships, is it helps me practice more humility. To be humble and open and teachable. And I think to try to be more emotionally present in the moment. To notice the little things, the silly things, the moments of joy, things that crack you up, funny things your partner just said. When we're so distracted and future-focused and fear-based and ruminating up in our head, we're not in the moment. I know I'm not. And the moments are where life is. We know this. We roll our eyes. I know that, Mary. But if we're more grateful, our eyes are more open to right here and right now. When you express genuine gratitude, you also build deeper connection with them because they feel the belongingness to you and you feel belongingness to them. So this creates such a ripple effect throughout our lives. Because remember, every life you touch, they're touching 10 other people or more in a given week. Pretty profound when you think about it. Gratitude makes us feel more giving and be more giving. When we're grateful for what we are receiving, it genuinely, organically, for most of us, makes us want to give. We don't want to withhold. We want to share. We want others to feel the good that we are feeling. We feel abundant. We feel like our cup is overflowing some days. And we want to give out of that. I think Maslow was right. We want to always be better people. And we want others to be better as well and to feel better. So if gratitude is so wonderful, why might we resist it, even if intellectually we know it's a good thing? Well, one of the reasons could be you could have fear that it means you're ignoring your problems, like you're ignoring your reality. And like the quote I love from Lynn Hord, the joy coach, she says, gratitude is not ignoring what's not working in your life. It's giving thanks for what is. See, I love that. I love the fact that I can be frustrated and upset and hurt by things going on and a little freaked out some days, especially lately. And I can also be grateful for some of the good things that are happening as well. So it's an and equation. It's not an either or. It's not binary. We may also resist practicing gratitude because we have some spiritual wounds from the past. Maybe you've been wounded by the church. Maybe you've been wounded spiritually by your family or your ex-partner or your community at large. Maybe you had deep losses or traumas where you had a strong faith before, but that was wrecked by what happened and it was really hard to go back. So being grateful means opening your heart again spiritually, or it could for you. So you may not do that for fear that you're going to have to open yourself up again for all of that. I think we resist also because we're just too anxious and too control focused. And we'll get to that in a moment. But gratitude is about sitting and being and allowing the good to be there. And remember what Brene Brown said about foreboding joy. Trusting the good's a hell of a lot harder than trusting the bad that you know. So it's too vulnerable, right? I might be miserable, but I'm safe and it's a known quantity. But maybe I'm not ready to be that vulnerable. And what if it goes from there? What if it opens up from there? What else and who else do I need to be open to and trusting now, you may ask yourself. Here comes the fear. And not crazy fear. I mean, I think that's a pretty valid fear for someone to have where they have wounds around that from the past. Now, your subconscious is there, remember, to keep you safe and make you happy. And if you got burned, especially more than once, your first go-to is going to be self-protection. And we protect ourselves by not feeling and not being open and, of course, not being vulnerable. So those are some of the reasons we may resist. You may have your own that are different, and that's fine. I think what's important is to acknowledge them, again, without judgment. Bring some compassion to it. Try to figure out where this is coming from for you and say, no wonder. Okay. Don't beat yourself up if you struggle with this. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it with neutrality and compassion. Like, that's interesting. Well, that makes sense. I think anyone in my shoes would probably struggle to feel grateful right now, and so on and so forth. First, look at the resistance and dispel it by saying, I don't need you anymore. I understand it now. I was protecting myself. I am protecting myself. And I'd like to maybe someday not have to protect myself, but it's where I am right now. Acceptance first. So that's gratitude. I think gratitude goes hand in hand with the other concepts that you hear me touch on often, and it's about letting go. And when I mean letting go, I mean letting go of control of the outcome, of other people, of their behaviors, their thoughts, their choices, their reactions, their feelings, of places, of things and circumstances that you have no direct control over. There's plenty of that going on in our world right now, I will say. Letting go means practicing better boundaries and looking at who owns what, like we talk about often here, and not focusing on what is not yours. It means, therefore, working on healthy detachment like we just talked about here on the podcast. It means refocusing on yourself. Similar benefits to letting go as there are for practicing gratitude: better physical and psychological health, less stress, lower blood pressure. I think a big one is you feel less drained and tired. When emotionally, you can just feel physically drained from emotional stress. Probably even more so than just physically feeling drained from working out in the yard all day or what have you. In fact, we know that if you even felt tired but got some amazing news over the phone in the next 5 minutes, where's your energy level going to be? Come on. You're going to perk right up, aren't you? It's wonderful news. It's very exciting. Your adrenaline's up. You feel positive. All the good chemicals are happening in your brain. So you're less drained and tired. I think you're going to be a hell of a lot less anxious. That's a big one. Less nauseous. Fewer panic attacks. Less IBS issues, right? A lot less fear. Fear is the root of all evil. And a hell of a lot less angry and frustrated and resentful and envious. You're going to feel more gratified because you're focusing within, basically, what's within your realm of control, which makes us feel more empowered. Remember the inner circle and the outer circle that Stephen Covey talked about. The outer circle is all the nouns out there that I care about, and the inner circle is just me. My thoughts, my feelings, my choices, my behaviors. And he said the more you focus on the outer circle, the more it's going to feel like your inner circle shrinks. You feel disempowered. You feel frustrated, overwhelmed, pissed off, resentful. The magic that happens, Covey said, is when you start to focus more within. Just a little bit every day and try to take your eyes off of what's out there. You're going to feel like your inner circle actually expands. And it does feel like that. It's pretty amazing. All right, so gratitude and letting go. So that's what we're going to flesh out more this month. But let's jumpstart this a little bit by first assessing where you think you are with an experiential activity. So those of you who are familiar, you know what I'm going to do, sentence stems. Those of you who are not familiar, I'm going to take a few moments and read some sentence starters. And then I want you to come up with 3 to 4 quick endings, whatever they may be, to finish the sentence. And just trust what comes up immediately. Don't question it. Don't think about it. If you're in a place where you can't write things down, it's all good. I'm going to have the link to the download in the newsletter. So you just have to go to the show notes and sign up for that. And then you'll have it. All right, you ready? Number 1. When I imagine being more grateful, when I imagine being more grateful, Number 2, growing up, gratitude in my family meant. Growing up, gratitude in my family meant. And number 3, letting go means. Letting go means. Okay. So take a deep breath and kind of sit with your answers for a moment, trusting that whatever came up was meant to, simply to raise your internal awareness. And I encourage you to take these sentence stems and write out 6 to 10 endings every day this week to get the full benefit, to see more and more awareness get raised. More things come up. Some may be known to you, some may be a surprise. There may be some positives, some negatives, some neutrals. All this is doing is getting you in touch with where you might be subconsciously, like without even knowing it. The more we raise our internal awareness without judgment, do this with lots of loving compassion. The more we do this, the more we ready ourselves for internal change. So, when we talk about letting go and gratitude, these are just practices that we're going to focus on this month, and we're going to go a little deeper with each one. These are practices, and what I love about that is if I have a crappy 2 days and I don't get to it, I can do it in the next breath, in the next moment, in the next 10 seconds. Isn't that great? So every time you fall off the horse, you can get right back on. And my hope is that you find what you need this month in terms of practicing some gratitude or letting go some things you can't control so that you can feel less stressed and more grounded and more in the moment. I think we all really need this right now. There's so much stress. So today we talked about this month's focus on gratitude and letting go, how they work together, I think, to keep us healthier and happier. We also touched on why we might be a wee bit resistant to these concepts, even when we admit we know it's good stuff and we need it. So stay tuned the rest of the month where we're going to be diving into this a little deeper. All right. Thank you so much for being here today. I want you to stay healthy and grounded and take really good care of yourself and take care of each other. That's what we're here for. Hold on to hope. Find hope in the little moments, please. If you don't already get the newsletter, go to ownitpowercast.com, hit the show notes. There's a link right there. You can go ahead and sign up, and the newsletter comes out every Tuesday. I do not send you a bunch of emails every week because I know I don't want to get them from folks. So I don't do that to you. Follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We have a great little Facebook group that I'd love to see you be a part of. All right, so pay it forward. Keep focusing on you, and I'll see you next time.
We hope you took away some useful insights and tools you could begin using right away. If you did, please leave a positive review and share on your social media. Because could you imagine if everyone in your life really got it together? Remember, own it now so you can really own it later.